I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, are you listening to me? I said, young man, what do you wanna be? I said, young man, you can make real your dreams, but you got to know this one thing. No man does it all by himself. I said, young man, put your pride on the shelf and just go there to the YMCA. I'm sure they can help you today. It's fun to stay at the
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage of the 199. Celebration shades on. There's a lot to celebrate today. There's a lot to be happy about today. Rocking the MAGA hat because we are so effing back right now. Shit is happening. Donald Trump is in control. MAGA is in control. America is back. The lefties are crying, and it is absolutely fantastic to see. Hello, everyone. Welcome into CobraCast. I'm glad to see all of you here tonight. AJ, for $20 to get us started. I love Geeks and Gamers and the content you all create. It's helped me through some lows in my life, and I know if I'm having a bad day, I can watch any Geeks and Gamers video and get some laughs. That's what we are talking about. Thank you so much, AJ. Appreciate you. Let's see. Is it, I'll say this. Quillian Hart says Jeremy's new merch line spotted at 24:25 in the Geeks and Gamers Megacon panel video. I don't know if that's in reference, so I'll have to look that up. Slick Rick says, how can such a great, amazing YouTuber and person who will do anything for his common man be so late and very gay? John Ambler says, shout out to Jeremy and the 199. Much love to you all. Also, whiskey good. Whiskey good. What's up, John Ambler? Zinni Biscuit, I'm very straight, and I got a thing for Putin. Tulsi is my girl crush. Nobody in the chat is going to be upset that Zinni Biscuit said that Tulsi is her girl crush. No one is going to be upset about that. 0 people will be offended by that. But we do have a lot to talk about today because the new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is a boss, okay? This was awesome right here. Let's listen in.
Back here. So thanks for being patient with us with the delay. We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DM.
Letitia James, the cross-eyed cow. Letitia James. That Letitia James. And her new name is the cross-eyed cow. That is Letitia James, cross-eyed cow.
MV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next.
Woo!
Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them. With me today, I'm so proud to be joined by Tammy Nobles. Tammy is an angel mom.
And let me just show you, just so we're clear, this is the cross-eyed cow, Letitia James. All right? Yeah, the same one that lied about President Trump, that lied about so many different things. Now you are on the other side of the justice system now.
Her beautiful daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered by an MS-13 member in 2022. Kayla had just turned 20 years old, and she was raped and murdered by someone who should not have been in our country. Yet he was released, flown to Maryland, where he committed this violent murder. I just want you to hear from Tammy. Tammy represents not only herself and her family, but all of the great angel moms around this country who have suffered because of what the Biden administration did, and it is over.
She sounds pissed.
Thank you for having me here today and being able to share Kayla's story. Her murderer was able to come across the border knowing that he was flagged as an MS-13 gang member, and he had a criminal record in 2020 in El Salvador for illicit gang activity. He came over as an unoccupied alien child, saying that he was afraid of gang activity in his country. Health and Human Services called him a nice boy, and he showed age-appropriate behavior.
And do you remember who was running HHS under Biden? Yeah.
That fell so wrong when he murdered my daughter. He ended up in Maryland, where he was able to rent a room in the same mobile home as her. We thought it was a legit company that were renting out these rooms, but it turned out that it was another illegal immigrant who owned these mobile homes. And he knew Walter from El Salvador. He knew him and allowed him to rent a room with my child. Kayla just turned 20 years old 3 days before she was murdered. Her murderer was only living there for 5 days before he viciously strangled her, raped her, and left her on the floor like trash and robbed her of $6. I have been sharing her story for over 2.5 years to bring change, because this should have not have ever happened to.
Someone said, who ran HHS under Biden? Well, let me introduce you to Rachel Levine. There you go, right there. But RFK is not good enough, apparently. But this weirdo, this freak, this mentally deranged weirdo apparently was good enough.
To Kayla, and it shouldn't be happening to other families being hurt by the border. Homeland Security did not do their jobs. They did not check his background. You know, they did say that he was processed. So if they processed him, they knew that he was a gang member and still allowed him here. Health and Human Services did not verify the sponsor and allowed him to go with a sponsor that they don't even know if it was his cousin or his aunt. And he was able to leave the sponsor's house to go live wherever he wanted. And I am going to continue sharing Kayla's story to help save others and to bring awareness of what was happening under the Biden-Harris administration. And I'm so thankful for Pam having me here today. And I'm so thankful for the opportunities I got from Trump and any other platform, you know, people who allowed me to share her story, because this is going to end. No other parent should suffer by having their child murdered by somebody that shouldn't be here. And I'm going to continue, you know, sharing it, and for Kayla, you know, and also for others. Thank you.
And it's my understanding that he also admitted to other murders. correct? Multiple
Yes,
murders.
he wrote a letter, and it was intercepted in jail that he committed 4 murders and 2 rapes.
And that's who we were letting walk into our country. And that's why President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois, strike 1. Strike 2 is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI, DEA, ATF agents. They put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. And what New York has, they have green light laws, meaning they're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background.
I'm sick and tired of this narrative that police officers can't do their fucking job. I'm sick and tired of it. Like, and that was all Obama. That Obama pushed this anti-police narrative. He pushed all of that. And then he created all this animosity towards police officers. I'm not saying that it was invented by Obama. Obama definitely took it to the next level, though. Obama put out that anti-police narrative. So you started seeing people being hostile towards police officers when they didn't need to be, all because Barack Obama made police officers out to be horrible people. And it's absolutely insane.
They have no idea who they're dealing with, and it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people. And that is why we are here today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you. Questions?
David Spud with Fox News.
Madam Attorney General, thank you and welcome to the Justice Department.
Thank you.
I have a quick on-topic and a quick off-topic
Sure.
question. On topic, in your executive order or in your orders on the first day you were here, you talked about working with the Justice Department, or these sanctuary cities, as you say, will be punished. Today you're putting people on notice. Right now, we're just lawsuits. Is this going to go further? What kind of punishment are we talking about? Is there any grounds to charge individuals, charge politicians? How far is this going to go?
Well, we're going to see what they do next, David. We have sued them all. We've personally sued the governor, the attorney general, Letitia James, and Mark Schroeder with DMV because he has the green light laws. So what they have to do, they have to start complying with federal law. If they don't, we're going to appeal it and we will win. They have to comply with federal law. Did you have a second question?
I did have a second off-topic question in this regard to the judiciary. Today, Elon Musk, who has enormous influence in the Trump administration, posted on X, quote, "There needs to be an immediate wave of judicial impeachments, not just one." As the Attorney General of the United States, how do you respond to that? Should the process work out in the courts before we talk about judicial impeachments? I mean, these are just TROs now at this time. Shouldn't these just play out?
Yeah, I haven't seen Elon Musk tweet. He is a friend of mine. He is a great man. I think he's very frustrated with what's happening in our federal government. You know, at USAID alone, they're giving out billions of dollars that should not be distributed. We're going to back him up. You know, we work our whole lives in this country, and we all pay taxes in this country. And for people to find out that $2 million is going to Guatemala for sex changes is outrageous. And we're going to back up Elon Musk every way we can. That includes lawsuits against these people who are doing that, and we will be successful.
Do you have concerns about judicial impeachments?
That's not going to happen now. We're going to look at everything. We're going to follow the law right now. We're going to follow the process. These are federal judges with lifetime appointments, but they will be struck down ultimately by the Supreme Court of the United States if the appellate courts don't follow the law as well.
Lana Richer with the AG.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I also have an on-topic and an off-topic.
Sure.
First of all, can you just briefly walk us through what the legal claims are you're making in this lawsuit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the green light laws are that this is what the green light law says. It's a green light to illegal immigration, which says they can comply. That law is unconstitutional. They can't do that. And what they've done is they have a tip-off provision that requires New York's DMV commissioner to promptly inform any illegal alien when a federal immigration agency has requested their information. So think about the men and women in law enforcement behind me. That's basically, that's not a basic, it's tipping off an illegal alien, and it's unconstitutional. And that's why we filed this lawsuit. And that's why we charge Mark Schroeder too, because he runs DMV.
So as I've said many times, leadership matters. President Trump is putting out a certain type of mentality, and everyone in his cabinet is following that mentality. No more bullshit. We're not fucking around anymore. We're not putting up with your bullshit. We're not putting up with the media's bullshit. And that is the attitude that it's going to take in order to be successful.
Oh, I'm sorry, you had a second question.
Yeah, my off-topic question. I wanted to ask about Mayor Eric
Yes.
Adams' case. As of at least a few moments ago, SDNY still has not dropped that case. Have you or other DOJ leadership spoken to the acting U.S. attorney in SDNY since the memo was sent earlier this week? And what will you do if she refuses to drop the case?
I have not spoken to her. I know our acting DAG, Emil Bove, has spoken to her, and Chad Mizell may have spoken to her, but that case should be dropped. It was done at the directive of Emil, so that case should be dropped. I did not know that it had not been dropped yet, but I will certainly look into that.
Megan, Daily Caller.
Hi,
Hi,
thank you.
how are you?
Tom Homan suggested this week that someone from within the FBI may be leaking information about the ICE raids and that such could be putting officers' lives at risk. Has the DOJ gotten any closer to determining
Lock
if
'em
these
up.
leaks are coming from within the
Lock
FBI?
'em the
And what will
fuck
the
up.
consequences be if they can identify the leakers from the FBI?
Excuse me. Well, first, I can't talk about anything that is ongoing, and that is ongoing. And it's really for the similar reasons of what I said earlier. The great men and women in law enforcement standing behind me today, they must be protected. And anytime anyone leaks or tips off anything regarding a pending investigation, that jeopardizes lives. You're telling a bad guy what's about to happen.
Yeah.
It could jeopardize the lives of all the men and women in law enforcement. We will not stand for it. We will find you. We're going to investigate it, no matter what agency it came from. We don't know for certain. We have an open investigation, so I can't talk about it in detail, but we will do everything in our power to hold you accountable, and it is a crime. And you will be prosecuted when we find you.
Love it, love it, love it.
Hi, Madam
Hi, Alana.
Attorney General. Thank you so much for your time. I was also
Right,
interested in hearing
attitude era,
specifically
that's right.
what the interactions have been like with Mayor Adams. And I know he has a little bit of a different tone than some of the other Democrats out of the Empire State. And then also Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, because before the President Trump went back into office, he had issued some words about a potential standoff and then walked that back. So I was curious to see what things have been like out of New York City and Denver officials.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that in New York, Mayor Adams is going to cooperate with us, with the sanctuary cities and the illegal aliens. And has the mayor in Colorado been cooperating? Do we know? I believe he might have now. Yeah, I believe Colorado is now cooperating. That's what we want. We don't want to sue you. We don't want to prosecute people. We want people to comply with the law. This is very simple. An MS-13 member murdered her daughter. That's happening throughout this country. We have one angel mom is too many. And we have angel moms throughout this country who should not be going through this. Comply with the law. This is the last thing we want to be doing. We want to be out there, all of us, fighting violent crime. Yet we're fighting illegal aliens, and that ends, and it's going to end today.
Woo! Fired up. Let's go. And that's not the only fired up badass woman under the Trump administration. Right here, I hope the audio is good on this.
I don't think for you. Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room?
Fuck the AP, first of all. Who cares about the AP? But this is typical CNN and their bullshit.
Last night.
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office. And you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the geographical identification name server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world.
Let's go. I love this attitude, man. That attitude is glorious. Now, of course, with amazing stuff like this, you have weirdos melting down and losing their minds. Holy shit. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. What in the world? These people are broken.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Up,
I'm sorry. Am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
What? Hang on. What?
And that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from.
What is going on? Holy shit.
You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
Both of you guys?
Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was a general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a fucking sir.
I apologize.
Motherfucker.
I apologize now.
Woo! It's getting good, man. There's a lot of good stuff going on. On top of all that, Tulsi Gabbard has been confirmed, ladies and gentlemen.
Gabbard, most of you know Tulsi. She's a fantastic woman. Tulsi, I want to just congratulate you, your husband, Abraham, your sister, and all of your friends. A lot of friends here. You have a lot of friends. I noticed that, huh? They were all fighting for you. It worked out very well. Tulsi Gabbard's an American of extraordinary courage and exceptional patriotism. She's devoted her entire life to public service, and I've watched her for years on different shows and everything. I said, she's a woman of great common sense. And, we like the common sense. It's a word that's being used a lot. I think we started it in terms of politics, but it's a word that's used a lot. It's usually pretty effective, too. And you really are. I've watched you, even on Larry King. You're very young. I don't know how you were Larry King, but you're very young.
And I'd like to point something out. I'm so glad that people are finally understanding that Bernie Sanders is the biggest fraud in all of politics, because he is. He's the biggest fraud of all. And I know that that's a huge statement because there's so many frauds in politics, but Bernie is definitely the biggest fraud of all of them. Bernie Sanders voted no on Tulsi Gabbard. In 2019, Bernie Sanders said Tulsi Gabbard has put her life on the line to defend this country. People can disagree on issues, but it is outrageous for anyone to suggest that Tulsi is a foreign asset. Tulsi stood by Bernie when the Democratic National Convention and the Democratic Party literally stole his nomination from him in favor of Hillary Clinton. Tulsi Gabbard stood up for him. And now he has stabbed her in the back, because that's the type of person that he is. He is a terrible, terrible person and a fraud.
But you were, and you always had the situation covered properly. At 21 years old, Tulsi became the youngest woman ever elected to the Hawaii.
So there's a part in here where Trump actually takes like some questions, because I am going to be a little short on time, but right here. So Trump takes some questions.
Friends here and all who wear the uniform. We're grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. When and where do you plan on meeting with Vladimir Putin? And were there any preconditions set to agree to this meeting?
No, we had a great call, and it lasted for a long time, over an hour this morning. I also had with President Zelensky a very good call after that. And I think we're on the way to getting peace. I think President Putin wants peace, and President Zelensky wants peace, and I want peace. I just want to see people stop getting killed. We're very far away from that particular war, but that's a vicious war. Probably 1.5 million soldiers killed.
What's up, Adrian Curry? All those people speaking solidified my hatred of humanity and joy that I moved off the face of the earth. Yeah, I mean, you've posted some pictures of the lovely area, and man, far away from most of humanity. That's the best way. That's the best way to be. And honestly, one day that's where I hope to be. Even though I do love Florida, I just I hope to be away from people one day, just all alone with my video games and my family and my my animals, and I'll be good to go. You know what I mean? So that is happiness right there. Jeeping Baylor says the Attitude Era prepared us for this timeline. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And this is the Attitude Era. This is 100% the Attitude Era of politics, and I think that will continue to be the case moving forward. It's what we got to have, and it's all because of this man right here.
In a short period of time, I've never seen anything. I have pictures that are, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe what you have to look at. Young, beautiful soldiers that are just being decimated, and it would be nice to end it immediately. But we had a very good talk with people didn't really know what President Putin's thoughts were, but I think I can say with great confidence he wants to see it ended also. That's good. And we're going to work toward getting it ended and as fast as possible. It's a horrible situation going over. It's flat land, and the bullet goes off, and the only thing it can hit is a body, a human body, a young human body. And they're losing just tremendous numbers of mostly soldiers. The cities and towns have been largely demolished. It's a shame what's happened to that country. It would have never happened if I were president. That I can tell you, would have never happened.
Memberships.
It's to look at that, and October 7th would have never happened either. By the way, Middle East. But we'll get it. I think we'll get it. We'll get something done. We're going to be meeting Actually, tomorrow they're meeting in Munich, as you know, and we're going to have some other meetings, and I'll be dealing with President Putin largely on the phone, and we ultimately expect to meet. In fact, we expect that he'll come here, and I'll go there, and we're going to meet also probably in Saudi Arabia. The first time we'll meet in Saudi Arabia, see if we can get something done. But we want to end that war. That war is a disaster. It's a really bloody,
John
horrible
Ambler.
war.
With Saudi Arabia, the first meeting will happen.
I think so. We think we're going to probably meet in Saudi Arabia, the first meeting. Hasn't been set, but not too distant future.
Will Zelensky be part of that meeting?
We both understand, we know the Crown Prince, and I think it'd be a very good place to meet.
So it sounds like that would just be a meeting between you and Putin and perhaps the Crown Prince, but not President Zelensky?
Probably we'll have a first meeting, and then we'll see what we can do about the second meeting.
Also commit to go to Ukraine?
What about Ukraine?
Did you commit to go to Ukraine?
No, I haven't. I haven't committed to
Would
go
you
to
go?
Ukraine. I would think about going. I'd think about it. No problem.
As you say today, Mr. President, that if they receive your vision, what is your plan to end this war? Like today, Secretary.
Well, I'm not going to tell you my plan. I can just tell you we've made a lot of.
You're not going to get this guy. Like, this just shows you how stupid politicians have been all these years, that these reporters think that it's okay to ask the leader of the free world what your plan is. And a lot of these idiotic politicians have no problem just saying exactly what their plan is because they're stupid.
Progress. This should have been done by Biden, not by me, because this has been going on for now a long time, years. And it should have been done by Biden. Just like the young gentleman that I brought home yesterday after 2 weeks. We worked on it for 2 weeks. He was a fine man, and he was in there for 3.5, almost 4 years, and they weren't able to do a thing, and I got him out. And as you know, I didn't pay $6 billion. I didn't pay anything. We did a trade, and we did a good job. We got him out in 2 weeks. It should have been out years ago. It really should have been out years ago.
Oppose NATO membership for Ukraine?
I don't think it's practical to have it personally. I know that our new Secretary of Defense, who's excellent, Pete, made a statement today saying that he thinks it's unlikely or impractical. I think probably that's true. I think long before President Putin, they said there's no way they'd allow that. This has been going on for many, many years.
By the way, is tomorrow... I thought that it was Kash Patel on Thursday. Is it supposed to be RFK? I heard Kash Patel was supposed to be this Thursday for the confirmation, but is it RFK instead? When is Kash? RFK's tomorrow. When is Kash? Do we have that one? I'll be interested to see. Hector says, let's be honest, this the truth. We ain't saying, the pandemic, everyone and the, hang on. What the fuck are you saying here? Let's be honest. This the truth. We ain't saying the pandemic, everyone in house arrest for a year was too much for some to handle. Spent the whole year watching more deranged corn, hence gay push. I didn't know where you were going with that one. I didn't know if this was some rap lyrics or whatever. I get what you're saying now. Thank you, Hector. I appreciate it. Samuel for 20 says, I think we need trustworthy historians to start documenting the last 10 years so bogus textbooks potentially funded by nefarious actors don't dictate or refrain historical events which could influence people in the future. Yeah, well, that's the thing, though. Like, there's a lot of people that are able to put out a lot of horrible information. And this is why I am happy that we have what I believe is that, like, we're at a point where everything is decentralized in terms of the media now. And everything is so spread out, and there's so many people documenting things in so many different areas. But as much as you would think, like, hey, look where we're at. Look how much information's out there. There's no way they can pull off anything right now. Well, 2020 happened, and we saw they had shut the whole fucking world down over the common flu. That's what they did. They shut the whole world down. They made people run around in masks for years. They kept people locked in their houses. It's crazy and scary, to say the least. Wisemac says, did you see that some on X say that Tulsi is a bad pick since she worked with and got endorsements from people in the Communist Party in the U.S.? Was wondering what you think, Jeremy. James Lindsay retweeted it. Yeah, I don't know much about James Lindsay. I've seen him on Twitter for years. I don't know much about him. He's not really someone I'm going to pay attention to very much. So, but you know, Tulsi, I have problems with Tulsi as like if we're talking about her as a person that's going to have power to be a president or something like that. I would not be in favor of Tulsi Gabbard from that perspective, just like I wouldn't be in favor of RFK to be the president. But in terms of working in Trump's administration and working under his direction, yes, I have no problem with that whatsoever. Let's see here. But yeah, I don't know much about James Lindsay. I know like a lot of people go back and forth with him. I don't know anything about the guy. But yes, Tulsi, I would not support Tulsi for president. I wouldn't support RFK for president, but I certainly support them in the respective positions to operate under the leadership of Trump. Same with Marco Rubio. I wouldn't support Marco Rubio for president. Too High Strung says Bondi the Beast. Sala Felix says Gotham City about to get cleansed of criminals. Kevin Cron says, thank you for doing CobraCast streams before you get your butt kicked later tonight on your Wednesday gaming stream. Yes, Wednesday gaming stream is happening tonight on Geeks and Gamers Play. I will be there. I heard a rumor RK Outpost is showing up. Graham Robbins says, hail the 199. Jeremy, I know you're a gay, but you pretend not. FMK, Christy Nome, Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard. Oh my God. Oh God. I think I'm going to marry Christy Nome. I'm going to hook up with Tulsi, and I'll leave it at that. So there you go. So Indy Ice says, bro, she's not even sad anymore. She's just defeated. Talking about the mother that lost her daughter. Blast Radius says, I would love to see Letitia James and Brandon Johnson in cuffs, two disgusting liars and criminals. Jessica Lindstrom's secret racism. What's up with the gay glasses? These are celebration shades, baby. Gerald Armstrong says, don't laugh, Jeremy. The trans are literally shaking. Indy I says, it's hard to call you gay after seeing this. Ministry of Wrong Things says, that B&T wacko looks like the pigeon lady from Home Alone. Oh my God. That is so accurate. Holy shit. That's really good. Star Wars The Stripe says, anyone notices Trump's lapel pin? I saw them highlight that earlier. I'll find the picture and show it to everybody. All right, let's continue with Trump really quick here.
They've been saying that for a long time, that Ukraine cannot go into NATO, and I'm okay with that. I just want the word, whether they are or they're not. But it certainly would seem to be that most people have said that is something that's not going to happen.
Here's Trump's lapel pin really quick. Right here. There we go. There you go. That's where Trump is he's such a freaking badass. You gotta love it, dude. Holy crap, man. This dude is undefeated.
Easing out President Zelensky of this process a bit. Isn't there a danger of that?
No, I don't think so. As long as he's there, but at some point you're going to have elections too. You're going to have an election.
He says he wants security assurances, Mr. President. What does that look like?
In terms of what?
If the war were to end, he says he wants guarantees of security.
We'll see what that means. I think when the war ends, one thing he was very strong about, if it ends, he wants it to end. And that's President Putin said that. He wants it to end. he doesn't want to end it and then go back to fighting 6 months later. We talked about the possibility, I mentioned it, of a ceasefire so we can stop the killing. And I think we'll probably end up at some point getting a ceasefire in the not too distant future.
Do you expect Ukraine?
Say it, what?
Do you view Ukraine as an equal member of this peace process?
It's an interesting question. I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace.
We will continue to provide.
I said that was not a good war to go into, and I think they have to make peace. That's what I think.
Why did you decide to provide support to Ukraine?
Would you support Zelensky ceding territory or exchanging territory in any agreement to end the war?
Well, he's going to have to do what he has to do, but, you know, his poll numbers aren't particularly great, to put it mildly. He's got a country where, you know, it's been savaged and attacked. And he's got an army that's been very, very brave, actually, despite the fact that, you know, we've given him, in my opinion, $350 billion. That's what the real number is. You don't hear that number. And Europe has given, in my opinion, $100 billion. And they've done it in the form of a loan. And I have a Secretary of Treasury right now who's actually quite brave. He's over in Ukraine on a train. And there's a lot of things happening around that train that aren't so good. And he's going there to get a document done where we're going to be assured that we're going to, in some form, get this money back, because we're putting up far more money than Europe, and Europe is in far more danger than we are. We have an ocean in between. Europe has nothing in between. You know, they have in between, they have Ukraine in between. So wait a minute. So as you know, Europe is putting up money, and they're getting it in the form of a loan. And the United States under Biden didn't do loans. They just handed money every time somebody walked in from Ukraine. They just handed them money foolishly. This should have never happened. It should have never started. And once it did, other things should have happened. Other things should have taken place. So we're getting security on our money. We're going to have it secured by, they have rare earth, and they have oil and gas, and they have a lot of other things. And we're asking for security on our money.
How long does Zelensky
They've agreed to it. Ukraine has agreed to it.
Does it mean you are not sending any more aid to Ukraine?
No, we are, but we want it secured, and the money is going to be secured.
When would the U.S. stop sending funding? When would the U.S. stop sending funding?
Because if we didn't do that, then Putin would say he won. We're the thing that's holding it back. And frankly, we'll go as long as we have to go, because we're not going to let the other happen. But President Putin wants to have peace now.
By the way, can I just say, fuck every single person in this media group that sat by for 4 years and allowed this disastrous Biden White House, yet here they are screaming at the top of their fucking lungs to ask Trump questions and try to grill Trump. Fuck every single one of them. I have no sympathy for none of the people in the media that were part of the White House press. Fuck every single one of you.
And that's good. And he didn't want to have peace with Biden.
Was that conversation with Putin?
And you tell me why that is, okay?
Was that conversation with Putin to start these negotiations part of the deal to bring Fogel home?
No, but it was a nice thing that he allowed Mark Fogel to leave. In fact, Mark wasn't feeling well, but he was all of a sudden about 2 weeks ago, he started being treated very nicely. He said they took him out for haircuts. They took him out. They helped him out a little bit and made him feel better, made him look better. And they were nice to him. And he said, I saw something happening. And it coincided with when I came into office. So that was nice. And he's a fine person. He was so happy to be out. He was there for 3.5 years plus. And he shouldn't have been there at all. They should have had him out much faster than that.
What does make you believe that Zelensky will agree?
Wait, go ahead, please.
Sorry, sir, just to be clear, do you see any future in which Ukraine returns to its pre-2014 borders?
Well, I think Pete said today that that's unlikely, right? It certainly would seem.
Who gives a fuck about Ukraine? Quit asking about Ukraine. Nobody gives a fuck. We just want the war to end so we don't have to worry about it. Outside of that, who gives a fuck?
Seemed to be unlikely. They took a lot of land, and they fought for that land, and they lost a lot of They lost a lot of soldiers, but it would just seem to me, and I'm not making an opinion on it, but I've read a lot on it, and a lot of people think that that's unlikely. Some of it will come back. I think some of it will come back. Yeah, some of that land will come back.
President, these are both Russian.
Who are you with?
Sorry, me.
Yeah.
AFP.
You who?
AFP, Agence France Presse.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you, the things that the Secretary of Defense was talking about, the 2014 borders and the lack of NATO membership. Ultimately, these are both demands that Russia has made in the past. Is there not a danger of handing Russia a kind of win on this?
Well, I think that if you look at the war, the way the war is going, you'll have to make your own determination. I'm just here to try and get peace. I don't care so much about anything other than I want to stop having millions of people killed.
Yes.
Killed. Last night, Kiev got hit very, very hard. I want to see people stop getting killed. That war is ridiculous. It should have never happened, and it would have never happened. Yeah, a couple of more questions.
Are you planning to sign? Are you planning to sign an executive order on reciprocal tariffs, sir?
Yes, I am. In fact, I may do it today. And if I do it today, I could almost do it right now. Would you like me to talk about it now? I don't want to take anything away from this young lady's day because this is her day. And I may do it later on or I may do it tomorrow morning, but we'll be signing reciprocal tariffs. The world has taken advantage of the United States for many years. They've charged us massive tariffs that we haven't charged them. And as you know, I just did something on steel and aluminum, 25%. That'll go up at some point, but 25%, which will level the playing field quite a bit. I did it previously 50%, and Obama was very weak, and Biden was even weaker on steel. The steel was just absolutely, it really started with Obama. The world really took advantage of us, and then that morphed into Biden. And what they did was he was so worried about trying to attack his political opponent that he didn't know what he was doing with respect to countries taking advantage. He should have looked at the countries, both friend and foe, taking advantage of us. So we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs, which is whatever they charge, we charge, very simply. But we're going to be...
Considering exemption, talk about widespread fraud and abuse.
Oh, yeah, tremendous fraud. There's tremendous fraud. And it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our attorney general, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done he doesn't need this. He's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does. And it's his group of people. They started off with 12. I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12 and they went to 20 and 25. And now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them because there's a massive fraud that's taken place. And then you have judges that are activists and they sit there and they say, oh, as an example, $59 million going to a little small group in New York City. You get nothing going to North Carolina to help nothing. They say, we don't have any money because they've given it away on the border. But you have nothing. What they did to North Carolina is a shame. And then they sent $59 million to New York City for a hotel for a little a little bit of nothing, what they've done. A hotel that was not luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune, and we catch them. But a judge says, well, even though it may be a fraud, you have to send the money in anyway. Send the money. I said, wait a minute. We have money that shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out, but they want the money to go anyway. And I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam. I really do. What's going on with this whole thing? And this is just one group. We haven't talked about Department of Education. We haven't talked about the military. We haven't talked about a lot of things that are very big. And what's happened is, as an example, you'll have cases where you have a 3-month contract, and maybe the guy that signs the contract leaves. Maybe he gets rich. All of a sudden he leaves for that reason. But you have a 3-month contract, and maybe he leaves. So the contract is sitting there, and the people signing the checks don't know it's 3 months, and it goes on for years. The 3 months turns out to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, just goes on forever. And the guy on the other side of the contract just keeps getting check after check after check, because Elon had an expression yesterday, because nobody cares. It's a great expression. Nobody cares. The guy that signed the contract didn't care. Maybe there, may not be there, maybe crooked.
And like I said, all this can happen with all of this fraud and nothing getting checked. But if you are an American and you don't pay your taxes, they are up your ass before you can even blink. They're up your ass over it. Yet they don't have time to check all of this other bullshit where millions and millions of dollars are being thrown around like nothing. Fuck these people.
Who knows? But you have to care. Otherwise, you can't really run a thing like that, or you can't run a country, really, because there's so many transactions, thousands and thousands of transactions. And if you don't have people that care, you're going to lose control. And that's what's happened. And we've caught it. Now, what we caught is billions and billions of dollars, but it's a tiny fraction of the real number, because you can never catch the real number, because people have gotten away with tremendous amounts of money. But I said we have to make our government smaller, more efficient, more effective, and a lot less expensive. And we could find $1 trillion, but we're being hindered by courts, where they file in certain courts where it's very hard to win, and a judge will stop us, and a judge will say that it doesn't make any difference what you find. You just keep paying the money. That's a hell of a way to be. And I follow the courts. I have to follow the law. All it means is that we appeal. But that gives people time to cover their tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they do. So it's a very bad thing that's taking place. But hopefully the courts will be fair. They don't have to be very fair. They just have to be a little bit fair, because this is so egregious what's taking place. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nobody's seen numbers like this. These are massive numbers. $9 million for somebody to go and stand in a store and see how people shop. Okay. I mean, you take a look at these things. It's a disgrace. And then you have a country that we want to make America great again. It's very hard to make America great again when you have things like this. And you're going to see the same thing. Department of Education is going to be a disaster. The military, I mean, I see it. Look, I came in, they had a contract done, as you know, for $5.7 billion for airplanes. It was Air Force One with Boeing. 5.7. I got it down to $4 billion, little less than that, 1 penny less than that. $3,999,999 and 99 cents. I said, has to have a 3 in front of it, because I wouldn't sign the contract for $5.7 billion. I was able to cut $1.7 billion off the price. And it didn't take me long. $1.7 billion. If people would care, they'd be able to do that with every single contract that's put before them. And we wouldn't have deficits, would have nothing but a tremendously low-taxed, wonderful country. But they have to care. And speaking of that, Boeing, we're not happy with the service we're getting in terms of those planes. They would like to get more money. We're not happy about that whole thing. We signed a very strong contract. I signed a guaranteed maximum contract, which they haven't seen in a long time. And they're saying they're getting hurt by it. But they have to produce the product, and we expect them to produce the product. They have to produce the product. They agreed to build planes at a certain price. They're not used to that. They're used to having time and material contracts where it's whatever it costs, time and material, no dates, no anything, and it ends up costing 5 times more. You look at some of the ships that have been built. Take a look at the Gerald Ford, the aircraft carrier, the Ford. It was supposed to cost $3 billion. It ends up costing like $18 billion. And they make, of course, all electric catapults, which don't work. And they have all magnetic elevators. They lift up 25 planes at a time, 20 planes at a time. And instead of using hydraulic, like on tractors that can handle anything from hurricanes to lightning to anything, they use magnets. It's a new theory. Magnets are going to lift the planes up, and it doesn't work. And they had billions and billions of dollars of cost overruns. I met the architect. I said, have you designed a ship before? This is one of the biggest ships in the world. It's like landing at LaGuardia Airport. But you look at the kind of waste, fraud, and abuse that this country is going through, and we have to straighten it out. We have great people going into the military in terms of we need ships, we need a lot of things. We have great people we have business people going in. But when you look at what's happened to our purchasing, and when you look at the USAID, when you look at the things that they're giving to them, the billions of dollars that they're giving to, and it doesn't make sense. It is interesting that when you're looking for fraud, you look at items, hundreds of items, and you'll find 1 or 2, maybe, if you're lucky. Here's something where you look at it, and they're all fraudulent. By just looking at the topic, they're all fraudulent, except it's the opposite. You'll find 1 or 2 that's like a legitimate reason. So I just want to thank Elon for going through it. I want to thank all the people that are working with him. We have a big group of people. I think the lowest IQ is about 160. That's very high. I think you have a couple of 182s in there, but they're doing a fantastic job. He doesn't need it, and they don't need it, but we're showing things, and it's going to be it's a big. People have no idea how important it is. Yeah.
How soon do you want the Department of Education to be closed?
Oh, I'd like it to be closed immediately. Look, the Department of Education's a big con job. We're ranked, so they rank the top 40 countries in the world. We're ranked number 40th, but we're ranked number 1 in one department, cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, but we're ranked number 40. We've been between 38 and 40. The last time I looked, it was 38. And then I looked 2 days ago, it came out the new list. It came out at number 40. So we're ranked 40. Norway, Denmark, Sweden. I hate to say it, China, as big as it is, it's ranked in the top 5.
Real quick, just saw this. Trump has secured another prisoner release from abroad. This is the second American released from abroad within 24-hour time frame, and the 11th since Trump's term began. So the 11th prisoner since Trump took over less than a month ago. These people were sitting there while Joe Biden decided that identity politics was at the forefront to bring trans weirdos to the White House lawn, yet you had Americans sitting there locked up overseas. Trump is crushing it, dude.
And that's a primary competitor. We're ranked number 40. So if we're ranked number 40, that means something's really wrong, right? And I say send it back to Iowa, to Idaho, to Colorado. Send it back to places that, and there are a lot of Indiana. You have a great new governor. You have a great senator that Jim Banks just got elected. You got great people. I'll tell you what, Indiana is going to be fantastic. We probably have 35, maybe 37 states that will do as well as Denmark Norway, Finland, Sweden. They'll be just as good. Then you have the ones that we all know about. It'll be the same story, but you know what? Even they will be good. Because you look at New York, you give it to Westchester County, you give it to Long Island, you give it to Nassau County, you give it to Suffolk County. Same thing you go out to, and you give it to upstate New York. So you'd have 4 or 5 sections. You give it to Manhattan. Manhattan's a little bit tougher for some reason. I don't know why it would be tougher, but it is. You give to California, and you go to various areas outside of Los Angeles, and you might have 6 or 7 different subgroups. But generally, like if you go to Iowa, you give it to Iowa. You don't have subgroups, you have Iowa. And other places that do a good job. If they do a good job, they're going to do a great job in education. Those places will be every bit as good as the various countries that do so well. All the time, it's the same countries that are doing well. And so we have a Department of Education where people from Washington, D.C., who in many cases don't care about the kids out in the country. They don't care about the farms and the farmer's daughter and the farmer's sons. We have a massive bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. We have buildings that are all over the city. Department of Education. I never said Department of Education's on all these buildings. By the way, nobody shows up to work because they're all working at home, quote, working at home. They're not working at home. And a lot of them have second jobs. And that's the other thing that Elon Musk is looking at. How many of these people are getting checks, working at home, but they're not working because they have second jobs and even third jobs? You're going to find a lot of them. And those people are going to be fired because we have to make our government smaller. All right, one more question. Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Nice to see you.
Oh, thank you, sir. 2 questions, one on Ukraine again, and then another one on the Kennedy Center. Do you think that as far as your negotiating tactics go, did Pete Hegseth take away some of your negotiating abilities with Putin by taking Ukraine's sovereign integrity off the table, by taking...
No, I haven't done that. I'm backing Ukraine. I'm backing Ukraine. Don't say that. I'm approving, but I do want security for our money. Europe is getting security. You know that, right? They're giving their money in the form of a loan. Nobody knows that. And why are we at 350 billion and Europe, which doesn't separate with an ocean like we do, we have a little thing called an ocean in between. Why is it that Europe is paying 200 billion less than us to help Ukraine? Very similar size. If you add up all the European countries, it's a little bit smaller than the U.S. in terms of the economy. Why is it that they're not paying the kind of numbers that they should be paying? And then on top of it, and I've been saying this to Biden, I told Biden, I said, you ought to be asking for either a loan or some kind of a security, like their oil and gas or something for the money, because you're putting up much more money than Europe and you have no security. Europe's putting up a much smaller amount, and it's in the form of a loan. Because we have people that were incompetent in the last administration, grossly incompetent, and we're changing it. But we change it, and all we do is we get hit by lawsuits from the radical left all the time. But here we are, we stand, and I guess we've done okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, there we go. So now we've got some interesting stuff to go over really quickly because this has been making the rounds. ESPN host Stephen A. Smith is strongly considering running for U.S. president. Honestly, I know everybody in the chat is going to laugh about this, but I think Stephen A. Smith, based on the current Democratic nominees, or I guess the pool of Democrats out there, I think Stephen A. has a decent chance at making some noise because of the pathetic Democratic Party that we have. Now, I don't think he stands a chance once he would run against a Republican, but who the fuck in the Democratic Party is actually worth a damn? Name one person who's actually worth anything. Now, Stephen A. is a clown. I think Stephen A. believes in nothing. I think Stephen A. is a chameleon. But in terms of having a dynamic personality, who in the Democratic Party? Fetterman? No. Fetterman does not have the ability to actually get any traction whatsoever. Josh Shapiro, that one's good, actually. Josh Shapiro is a good nominee. Now, again, I'm only talking about specifically from a Democratic standpoint. I mean, again, speaking of Democrats, I mean, let's listen to this representative right here, Summer Lee.
Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the Black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror Black folks have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms. Our government, no matter who is in power.
Jesus. These people are broken. But I feel the chat deserves it. So it's been a little while. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Little Haba.
Despite the lawfare and the politics, President Trump loves the American people and he loves this country.
Ooh, that's loud. That's loud.
The truth comes out, and President Trump has been and is innocent of any crime other than loving this country. They have tried to take down President Trump, and like I've been saying for 3 years, you can keep trying, but you will not succeed.
There we go. So, Alina Haba. Now, look, I don't know if you guys saw this story. This is one of the most mind-numbing stories I have ever seen. Utah driver jumps out of their car at the last moment before vehicle is demolished by oncoming train. Explain this one to me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure it's a female driver, by the way. So there's a lot going on here. Number one, did the truck behind it hit it? Like that truck, it looks like the truck hits it and pushes it. Very strange right there, okay? Secondly, I'm just going to let this vehicle play. I'm going to let this video play. I am astonished at the stupidity of the driver. So, the crossing, bar lets down. They bump into it. Okay. So they bumped into it. They can't back up. They keep trying to back up. So instead of, pulling forward or instead of doing a U-turn, they decide to get out of their vehicle and run and wait for this. What? What? I am astonished at the stupidity here. I am astonished. I can't process this. I can't understand this in any way, shape, or form. How can this person be so stupid? If there's one thing I can't stand, it's stupid drivers. I hate stupid drivers. They drive me crazy. I guarantee you that this idiot is probably one of these weirdos that drives in the left lane going too damn slow. Apparently, this created $1 million worth of damage. Like, why didn't you just keep going? Like, just keep going. One more time. Here it is. And gets out of the vehicle, walks away pretty calmly, and just lets the vehicle get destroyed. That is wild. So yeah, there you go. So I wanted to show that one because I just couldn't believe that. There's so many weird things about this whole scenario. But hey, it is what it is, right? Okay, let's see. We've got JRG Project says, here's how you deal with Hamas. Let's see, the Palpatine strategy. Wipe them out, all of them. Whoever is the equivalent of of General Veers, send him in there and recreate the Battle of Hoth. Hamas was warned. Let's see. Blast Radius says, I knew Bernie Sanders was a fraud even before people started calling him out after he sold out Ron Paul on not voting to audit the Federal Reserve at the last minute. He's always been a snake. Yes, Bernie Sanders has always been, you know, I mean, again, so as soon as he cucked to Hillary Clinton, it should have been obvious to everybody that he was a fraud. It should have been obvious. Z-Herb says, I love how people say the U.S. is so uneducated, but then complain Trump going to close the Department of Education. Clearly, it hasn't been working right, so why keep wasting all that money? Exactly, because it's Trump. They're going to complain about anything he does. Verinit for 20 says she needed the insurance money. I'm not going to consider that person was that smart. Although, if that's the case, that'd be pretty damn good. That'd be pretty damn good. John Jones says, the burn has officially flamed out. Feel the burn. Let's see. Feel the burnout more like. Yep. Eric K says, Trump is a bit hoarse. He sounded like Beardo after a weekend with Jeremy and Ryan. Victor Chavez says, all I'm seeing is ruthless aggression. Let's go. Fantastic Snock says, g'day and hail. I got idiots in my country who think it's a good idea to join BRICS as an own towards Trump's 25% tariffs to steal aluminum. Stupid. Mike S. says, Trump is showing exactly why he's the best president of our lifetime, while Elon is showing how he is the best CEO. Very true. Hector says, damn, autocorrect got me sounding like a minority, as Jay likes to say. Thanks, bro. No worries, brother. No worries at all. Mellow Fungus says, reminder, white supremacists endorsed Trump in 2016 until they realized he's not actually a racist. I wouldn't worry much about who endorsed Tulsi. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Warbeard says, nice glory hole glasses, Jeremy. You guys are loving my glasses. Vault 95 says, last D-Day Cobra stream was Happy New Year. Wow. I'll try to do a gaming stream in the next couple of days. Blast Rate on my D-Day Cobra gaming channel. Blast Radio says, if alphabet weirdos are so afraid of Trump, and they're not, they can go to Greenland and make it LGBT land or something. They can go someplace, LOL. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, what the fuck is G20 Big Mike Die Hard movie shit? Dude, I don't know. I saw that and I'm like, what in the hell is that? Solid Felix says, they were too busy asking about Biden's favorite ice cream. This is true. Sad, but true. Brighton Gamers is watching from Brighton, UK. Our country is in shit right now, but we have hope with reform. UK, keep up the awesome content. Jeremy, hail the 199. Thank you. Appreciate that. East Coast Toast Boy says, hail, hope y'all had fun at MegaCon. I hate missing it because of having to check into my new unit at the Marines, but I made it and I'm situated. Hail the 199. Well, hopefully you can make it next year. MegaCon will be happening again next year, and we're going to be there. We're going to have a meetup again. We're going to have a panel, and it's going to be awesome. So I cannot wait to see all of you. 8 o'clock says, I'd be shocked if the Department of Education isn't funding transition surgeries for children. Fuck these people. Absolutely. JRG Project says, is it me or is Trump far more well-spoken than he was in 2016? It just seems like he can articulate things on par with other conservatives. Yeah, I mean, I think that Trump's entire demeanor has changed. I think everything has changed. His approach, his comfort level. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but I mean, as many things as Trump has accomplished in his life and as many things as he's done, he's still going into being the president of the United States of America. It was an incredibly difficult job for him, and he didn't know Washington at all. Now he's more comfortable in the position. He's more comfortable with his team. He's more experienced in the world of politics, and he understands exactly what he's doing. So I think it all matters. Let's see. Grant Potato says, bring home American hostages or sniff a particular age group. Biden. Corn Pop was a bad dude. You know the thing. Hope says, it's because she thought he'd run if she crossed. Fubi says train video. That's insurance fraud. Happens all the time in Brightline in Florida. So I guess that theory is kind of correct because, yeah, the vehicle running into the SUV kind of showed that person could potentially have been up to something. So I could see that theory. I guess I could see that theory. Sir Rune House Round says, are you concerned about Trump's tariffs raising prices? What policy of Trump's benefits you the most? Getting rid of illegal immigrants benefits not just me. It benefits every single person in this country. I'm tired of going to fucking stores and hearing motherfuckers speaking languages I don't understand. I'm tired of being surrounded by people that aren't American. That's the bottom fucking line. So yeah, illegal immigration being under control and closing the borders benefits every single American in this country. Period. And then you can just look at the plethora of other things, but it's going to take time for Trump to right the wrongs of the disastrous Biden economy in terms of seeing a lot of those things fully come into effect. But right now, I go to sleep every night knowing that there's a leader for the United States of America that's not going to put up with any bullshit. Whenever Biden was president, number one, I didn't know who the leader was, although we assumed some things. There was no true leader. There was nobody setting a tone to go, don't fuck with us. Now there is. Let's see. Golden Nugget says, got to keep contact at a minimum. People are questioning my sexuality. That sounds like a personal problem. Z-Herb says, Elizabeth Warren crying over RFK on Twitter. Why they suddenly hate him? Oh, wait, because Orange Man bad. Yeah, that's their new NPC download. That's how it goes. That's how it always goes with these weirdos. Over on Locals, Graptar's Hammer says, after Pam Bondi gave that blazing speech, Joe Biden just pooped his pants a little, and he wasn't even watching. McCox says, Jeremy, stop streaming on Kick because they would only have 10 people, but we get less than that on Locals. That means he hates us. That's not true. And then if this were the Attitude Era, that means the next one will be the Ruthless Aggression. Does that mean we will get JD Vance dropping some Vince McMahon words? We'll just call it that. Pippi says, missed the meetup due to being sick, planning next year. We hope to see you. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I think next year's meetup is going to be like even crazier than this one. I am blown away that, we actually had more people. We had more people this year than last year. That's insane. Trying to see. We got that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we had more people at the meetup this year than last year. I'm still not sure if we had more people at the panel this year or last year. Last year, we had the room filled out too. This year, they had to turn people away, but it was a different room. So I don't know if we had more people or not. They were definitely close in terms of numbers. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So let's see here. Mike says, if you haven't seen it, I recommend checking out this the Beavis and Butthead Meet Donald Trump video. It's hilarious. Hail to 199. I have not seen that one. John the Beagle dad says, lost my dog in the profile. Let's see. Snake Pit, give Leia a hug. Oh, sorry to hear that, brother. Sorry to hear that, man. Dogs are family. I feel you on that, man. Nothing but prayers for you. The Exalted Patriarch says, as Obama said, without having all the facts, the police acted stupidly. Look up Obama, Cambridge, Gates 199. Lonely Death Arts says the Mexican word of the day is hide. Fear the Trevor is a gay fish. Ethan Van Guy is it what? Oh, Ethan Van Gayer loves Ripa's Tippa. Okay. I'm glad to hear that, I guess. Mike says, from what I'm reading, Cash Patel is tomorrow as well. That's what I heard. Nips Litter says, hey, Jeremy, are you playing Titanfall 3 tonight? Oh, wait, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, unfortunately. NDI says, how's Willie Will? Where's Willie Will? Why is Willie? I haven't heard from Willie Will in a couple of months. Well, it's at the first of the year. We heard from him at the first of the year. But I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure Willie Will is watching. So, but hail Willie Will. Fantastic Miss Knox says, so in Canada, there's a photo of a vending machine at a hospital that sells crack pipes, fentanyl, or other paraphernalia that's accessible to children. Son of a bitch. That's crazy if true. East Coast Toasty Boy says, I don't mind them speaking their language to each other. What does piss me off are the ones asking me if I speak Spanish when they know America isn't a Spanish-speaking country. They have negative IQ. Agreed. Sir Ruin of our house around here. Which Democrat would you be most terrified of becoming president in 2028? Josh Shapiro is the obvious answer. He's well-spoken. He's articulate. And he's from Pennsylvania. And that's a key battleground state. So that's the obvious choice right there. Let me see here. There was one other thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up, because we do have a gaming stream tonight. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. Where was it at? Oh, look at this meme. Look at this. Look at. That's her tweet. It says, no one is above the law. Holy shit. What a meme. This is gold. Holy crap. That is glorious. Woo! You love to see it. That is the best thing ever right there. I mean, this is going to be satisfying if she actually gets locked up. If you remember how terrible, like, she is a terrible, terrible person. Andrew, holy crap, for $99.99 MAGA Red. The art of protest has morphed into an off-Broadway spectacle where Democrats and drama graduates audition for social change stardom. Bravo to these failed wannabe actors for turning every disagreement into a theatrical production. The theatrics is very noticeable. You, my friend, are 100% correct. That is exactly what it's all about. And to that point, because I don't know if you're talking specifically about the clip that I played earlier, but it's very on point, and I'm going to play it again because it's very relevant. This right here is what you've got to be referencing something like this.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry. Am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from.
My goodness. Okay, I understand, but I can make it better, chat. I can make it better. Anna Paulina Luna. There you go, chat. You're welcome. I made up for it, okay? I made up for it. I apologize. There we go, okay? Redemption is here, okay? There we go. Great personality, Anna Paulina Luna. Quad Wiener says, working construction, I already see substantial decreased illegal numbers, and I'm in Florida. Let's effing go. Hell yeah, let's effing go. East Coast Toasted Boy says, those who preach the loudest have the most to hide. Yep. Solid Metal Snake says, I feel the pain of working in retail where people constantly ask for help, but then tell me no English. It gets on my nerves. 100%, dude. 100%. Grant Potato says a whistleblower has come out and accused Josh Shapiro of being involved in the attempt on Trump. I've heard those stories. I don't know how legit they are. So until there's like more, confirmation of that, I'm not going to get into that one, but yes, I have heard that one. I absolutely have. Let's see here. Fantastic Sniper says, those people at the government stand, I have all these labels, so please take me seriously. I mean it. I swear these people are so whiny. Yes, they are. They are broken. They're absolutely broken beyond belief. And we're going to continue to see this. Like, there's going to be so many moments where we're just going to see how broken these people are and how screwed they are. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay watching these mentally unstable people that have created all of these scenarios in their mind out of absolutely nothing. I'm okay watching them continue to be broken. Because all you have to do is slightly pay attention to the world around you to understand that it's not what you say it is. But if you're going to continue to live in that fantasy land, I don't have to feel sorry for you, and I don't feel sorry for you. If you choose to make yourself miserable, why should I have sympathy for you? Now, if you're honestly out there trying to understand and try to overcome things that's going on, then that's a whole different story. But if you're actively choosing to stay in this demented world that doesn't exist, I can't help you. And that's ultimately at its core. You cannot help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. It's that simple. You shouldn't waste your time with it. There are people out there that probably do want help, that struggle to help themselves, but you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. It's that simple. So don't waste your time with it. Let's see. Golden Nugget says Titanfall sucks and APL is mid. Bro, calling Anna Paulina Luna mid is retarded. You just said people are questioning your sexuality. You know how to make sure that that doesn't go away by calling Anna Paulina Luna mid. Bro. I got a clip I'm playing for you, Golden Nuggets. This is for you, Golden Nuggets. This is the clip that you get right now. This is for you.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
All right, now... And you offended me so much by the APL comment that you said Titanfall sucks, and that's almost as bad. That's almost as disrespectful. But we're going to calm down now. We're going to calm down now, okay? You got me on that one. Actual Blade says, Jeremy, who is your favorite superhero, and why is it me? Is that Actual Blade? Well, Blade's pretty great. Superman, of course. Let's see. Yeah, Titanfall is one of the greatest first-person shooters ever made, and it's not even close. Well, with that said, we're going to end it here. I got to jump over to the gaming stream. Oh, BizJack says, Jeremy, he's so nice they named him twice. Well, thank you over on Rumble. But yes, so we're going to be live over on Geeks and Gamers Play. If you guys want to come hang out with us over there, we would appreciate it. I can't wait to play. I guess we're playing Fall Guys, I think. Kyle Phantom says, these people are the types of people that just want attention and lack any form of intelligence. They are clowns. They need to go back to the circus. Also, Titanfall is amazing, though I'm more of a Halo and Doom fan. Yeah, I respect that take. Nothing wrong with Halo or Doom. But yes, Titanfall is absolutely amazing. One of the greatest first-person shooters ever made, and it's not even close. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Booming Bob says, calling APL mid is like signing the Snake Eyes movie, which Jeremy would never do. All right, guys. Let's go over to Geeks and Gamers Play, and let's go play some video games. If you guys want to come hang out with us over there, it's going to be fun. We'll be cussing each other out, yelling, screaming, the typical gaming stream for Geeks and Gamers. So I appreciate all of you guys. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be live on this channel tomorrow because there's plenty of CobraCast. So I'll be live. I don't know what time the Kash Patel hearing is or the RFK hearing, but I will do my best to cover that for all of you guys. Shadow Sand says Interstellar's mid. All right, now you guys are just fucking with me. Have a good night, and I'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.